Scott. We get the pleasure this week to swing on in to Spider-Man Remastered on the PC. Scott, this week, I'm pretty excited, man. We got an awesome game that was originally released in 2018, Marvel's Spider-Man, but we're getting the remastered version for PC. We're both playing on Steam. This game is also available on PS5 and the Steam Deck, which is actually a new update, which is pretty cool to see that this game is actually going to be available on a handheld device. But let's kind of start out with what we're getting with the remastered bundle here. This is a $69.99 bundle. We're getting the first DLC after the main story of the game, which, let me tell you, is the main game is a lot of games, so the fact that we're even getting a DLC packaged in here is really awesome. From the beginning right to where I'm at now is I'm just having a blast. Like, I just feel like I'm playing through a Spider-Man movie. These Marvel games, whether it be any of the Spider-Man games, the Avengers games, the production value is there. It's very high, so we're getting put into these worlds. The level of immersion is really good, and I thought they kind of nailed every aspect as far as, really encompassing what Spider-Man is, and being able to get back into this remastered version where essentially now that it's on PC, we're able to really boost up those graphics. This game looks beautiful. I mean, we have ray tracing available now. There's actually a small update coming out just before the release of this game, and we're actually going to be getting some more graphical options, which is really going to allow people to fine-tune their experience. This game visually is just stepped up so big, and we already had the great bones of a game to work with, and now we've got a game that looked good on PS4, but it looks amazing at this. And between the graphics, the audio, I think, when you're swinging the webs through the city, the music's playing, and then it stops, and you may get a phone call, or you're down, fighting bad guys, but as soon as you whip that web up and you're going again, and it's flying through the air, the music starts again. Like, it's just so well thought out and done. This game is, we review a ton of different games out there, and when you play a game like this of this quality, you just know, you're like, I'm in for a good time here. This is one of these things where you're going to get so just drawn into it. You're going to spend hours, and I know, talking to you, this is definitely one of those games that's probably going to be doing the same thing to you, man. How did you feel jumping into Spider-Man Remastered?
Oh, absolutely. I think if you're a fan or not of Spider-Man, you're going to have a great time getting into it because, as you said, it really touches on a lot of the things that come with being Spider-Man. Swinging around the city at really high speed was very fun, and I'm kind of hearkening back to the memories I have of Spider-Man 2 back on GameCube. Now, those are incredibly different games from an incredibly different era, but what you get in this iteration of Spider-Man captures a lot of that same feeling, that wonder of what I'm doing, and I really wish I was Spider-Man. I don't own a PlayStation, so my biggest issue was, how do I get to this game? And luckily it is one of, I think we mentioned, it's the fourth game to make it on PC from the PlayStation hemisphere. But the biggest change, I think, was that was appreciated by myself was this. Playing it with an Xbox controller, it feels like I'm doing something wrong, but it also feels kind of right, because the controls behind the combat was really well done. As you go on through the game, you level up your character. You do get more and more abilities added to your combat. So now I'm at the point where I'm swinging around in the middle of a fight, taking people out, and entering the fight again, webbing people up against walls. That was a lot of fun. There was one thing that I noticed, actually, knocking people off buildings. This was kind of funny to me. If you knock somebody off a building, they actually last moment stick to the side of the building. It's like Spider-Man shoots out a web just to save them, because, well, he's like Batman. He doesn't want to kill anybody. J. Jonah Jameson is constantly on your back, and he has a radio broadcast show, and it reminded me almost like Laszlo from Grand Theft Auto, because he's so wacky and out there with what he's saying. But one of the most important and interesting things, actually, was that the voices are very similar. These are not the characters or the actors that we know from the movies, but, well, we were remarking, whoever plays J. Jonah Jameson got it almost spot on. So close. It sounds just like J.K. Simmons, and that is really important. If he had a different voice, it would have took me out of that experience a little bit. But there's a huge collectible kind of aspect to this game. You're going through getting backpacks, collecting different suits. Eventually, you can take little photos around the city, just as you said, of different landmarks. And it does that thing to me where I have to get them all. I have to collect them all. And at first, I get a little bit of annoyed by that now because I've been playing games for so long, and I know this one gets me, but at the same time, I'm enjoying my time going through it. It's not a drag to kind of hop across the city and find one little item. I'm having fun doing it the entire time.
Our time with Spider-Man Remastered, I mean, there weren't too many complaints back there. We had a great time playing this game. We're still having a great time playing this game. I want to quickly touch on the fact that you were playing on your Xbox controller. We do get this for PlayStation 5 DualSense full compatibility as well, which makes total sense. This is a PlayStation Studios title, so I get that. That's really awesome that you can hook up your DualSense controller and feel all those awesome vibrations and all that crazy stuff that those controllers do. So that's nice to see that that edition is here for the PC Remastered version as well. But if we got to score this game, I actually had a tough time. You'd think this would be an easy one to score because, you know, it's just been a great game, a great experience all the way through. But I had a tough time because, you know, I wanted to make sure that this is where it should be as far as the scoring is concerned. The audio's there, the graphics are amazing, and you know what? We already knew the game was there. I'm giving this one a 9.5. What are you going to give it, Scott?
Oh, I agree with you almost on all points there. It was just such an easy sell to me to jump in, and this is something that I'm going to be thinking about for quite some time moving forward. The next superhero game has a lot to live up to, and, and I'm not sure if it's ever going to hit me just as well as this Spider-Man did. I'm so happy I got a chance to jump into this game now on PC, and I've just had a great time through and through. I'm going to have to 100% this game, and I'm going to do it the entire time as the bombastic Bagman. I love the different suits. It gives you just a little bit of personality to it, and well, that's just the beginning. Really just the very beginning of the game. I'm going to be glowing about this for a while, but I'm right up there, a 9 out of 10. It really is hard to find something negative.
Is anyone hurt?
No, it was all my fault. The energy levels exceeded our expectations.